Firstly, I have to say it's an honor and it's a privilege to be in this prestigious platform. So thank you for inviting us. I've been given the daunting task of interviewing none other than the man of the moment. I've had the pleasure and the privilege of growing up in front of him, literally looking up to him, pun intended, also directing him, and then just being aware of his magnitude, his complete enigma, and his legendary status as probably the most famous Indian you know of or will ever know of. How do you introduce a man who is literally an introduction by himself in every which way? He's an introduction to our country, he's
Karan,
an introduction to our
now,
cinema. Should I
really,
just stop?
it's too much.
Okay.
It's impossible to digest all this.
Okay. But that was about 3 minutes of what I was going to do, Amit Uncle. I was going to praise you because I genuinely feel it. All right, so we're going to dive right into this, and we'll try and keep this as easy and harmless as possible. I don't know which mic to speak into. There's so many darting at me right now. Okay, just going to choose between these two. What I've observed, Amit Uncle, more than anything else is your films in the last 3 years. From Piku in 2015 to Pink in 2016, you've done Teen. I believe there's a conscious change in your choices of films. And I feel like you're doing selective but strong and solid work. Has that been a conscious decision in how you rehauled your entire work theory?
You're wrong.
Okay.
It's nature's decision. When you age, those are the kind of roles that you'll get.
Not entirely, in terms of, I felt in terms of the texture and the syntax of the movies you're choosing. I think they're not just age-driven, they're also very strongly character-driven parts.
Yeah, at a certain age you get these kind of roles.
Okay, I suppose so. But I believe that the screenplays of these films and the films by themselves have been so amazing in terms of its texture as cinema goes, and I feel that there was an entire zone where you did some fantastic work, but you did lots of it. And I believe that you're doing much lesser and much more solid work. And is that true, or is that...
I think the credit really needs to go to the audience because they have preferred better stories and the kind of work that most of our writers are doing these days is quite phenomenal. Keeping in mind the tastes of the audience, keeping in mind the other kind of entertainment that has entered into our lives from all over the world, right, thanks to television and the internet, and the need to compete with it almost every day. And how to get the audiences away from the environs of their home and bring them out to the theater. They're quite happy seeing whatever they are seeing on television, and perhaps they see better quality. And therefore there's been a conscious effort by writers and makers to improve our quality, improve the kind of cinema. And also there's been a great maturity in the audiences, in their tastes, and that is being reflected in some of the stories that are being written.
And as an artist, as an actor, do you believe you've had to kind of, in terms of redefine the way you face the camera? Because you're one actor who owned the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. You kept updating your skill as an artist as well. And today in 2016, when you face the camera with many members of possibly the younger generation, and everyone brings a different kind of energy as an artist, do you believe that you've had to update yourself? Which I believe when I look at your performance, it still feels so amazingly contemporary.
The credit should really go to the writer.
Right.
They're the ones that are the most important people in any project, according to me. Because I've said this many times before, they're not just the writers, they're actors, they're screenplay writers, they're music directors, they're set designers, they're costume designers, everything.
Right.
When they conceive a character, when they write the dialogues, they have all these things going in their mind, so they are the most important people. And if they're writing what I'm supposed to speak, then the credit should go to them, because I'm just doing what has been asked of me. It's not something that I'm inventing on my own. If there's a particular way that a screenplay has been scripted, If there's a particular way dialogues have been written, I just have to enact them. I don't put in any special effort.
I think you give...
The special effort is being put in by the creative side.
I think you're giving too little credit to yourself.
No, sincerely. I mean,
I believe you...
Someone comes and decides what you need to wear. Someone comes and writes something and tells you, this is the way we want you to speak it. This is where the camera will be. This is how you will move. This is where you will... You know it better than anybody else. So there's very little that we do.
But the sheer presence and what you bring to the character is singularly yours and yours alone.
Yeah, but unless it's written for you, there have been many films where I'm still the same person, but it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked because it wasn't believed by the audience. And that credit really goes to the writer and the maker when they design a project, what happens to it. If it's not designed properly, if it's not written properly, you can get the best actor in the world and they'll fail.
With your 47 years of experience as an artist, as an actor in the movies, do you have the instinct now of being able to tell whether a moment or a movie is working and one that is completely not?
Never be able to do that.
You can't?
No. Nobody in the world is able to do that. Not even you, Karan.
No, I can tell when my movies are really bad. I can totally tell halfway through that when I'm producing a film, I can totally tell when something is not working. You see,
so why don't you stop it?
I can't. I feel
halfway through.
Halfway through, just stop it. I actually have tried, and due to various reasons I haven't been able to. But I think behind closed doors, sometimes you just know whether your product is not working or not. But you hope for the best. All of us are big believers in optimism where it comes to the work we do. And sometimes there's a level of delusion, And have you ever felt deluded about your love for your work?
No, never. No. So I think once you confirm your participation in a project, then you just go along with it and as sincerely as possible. As a professional, I guess that's one aspect of it that you need to adhere to.
And
it's like any professional, I presume,
And how do you react when
a doctor is never asked, "Yeah, iska pet tum theek se kaat sakoge ya nahi kaat sakoge?" Every patient is the same for them.
Correct. And how do you react when a group of millennials really believe that you're the youngest man in the zone? Because you're contemporary in terms of all your habits, your social media habits, your awareness, your relevance to the times is exemplary. And was that a strategized decision or it so happened?
Why must everything be strategized for me, Karan?
I believe in strategy.
No, it's just something that is new, there's something novel.
Right.
It's interesting, it gives you some kind of a connect with the people that are fond of you, who are well-wishers. And I think it's very immediate. In today's times, everything is so fast and communicable at very short notice. You get immediate reactions. I find that very helpful in many ways. Yes, you get a lot of abuse as well, but I think it's very healthy.
I'm abused all the time, and I can't believe it happens to you as well.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Who would dare to abuse you?
I'll take you to my site and I'll show you some of these guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Because my next question was going to be about the excessive trolling and how it's actually the internet can be such a lonely space where there are faceless people who can just say anything and spew venom at times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're not prepared for that, don't go on it. But I think it's perfectly fine. Yeah. You can't be perfect.
No, of course.
I mean, you can't have anyone not having, abuse you.
What is your reaction to criticism when you read perhaps a review or maybe people's opinion of your work?
I think it's a learning for me because there are several aspects of your creativity which you're unaware of when you're working at a project. And there are many times when you get a view or a viewpoint which is different from what you ever thought, what your director thought. And I think it's very healthy. I read it, I listen to it, I admire it. And I actually sometimes work at improving on it. If somebody says that, you were absolutely rubbish in this film, I'd like to go back and assess what it was, yes, and perhaps make amends or at least make an effort to make amends.
Are you a self-critic? Do you know when you've kind of hit it out of the park or when you haven't?
No, I never know when I hit it out of the park, but I know when I get bowled or leg before or anything. It kind of stays with you after you've worked throughout the day. You followed exactly what the director has asked you to do, and then maybe at night when you go back, there have been times when I think about what has happened. And then at 2 o'clock, I'll call up the director and tell him, can we redo that shot again tomorrow morning? Because I feel we could have done something better. But yes, I think it's very natural for all of us. When we finish the day's work, we go back and think about it.
And you never think you've really got it right, always. There's always that beating insecurity.
Yes, yeah.
But do you think that's what keeps you alive? That you're always insecure?
I don't know. I don't know whether that's keeping me alive or not. But I think it's with most creative people. Once they've finished something,
yeah,
they want to go back and think about it. Do you do that?
All the time.
Yeah.
And hate it every time. Because I always think I've got it wrong. And many a time I have got it wrong. But you do go back thinking about the work you do every night.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's what I always say, that if you're not insecure, you're not creative. It's just the way you have to be constantly insecure. Because you can't always know what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful way of putting it. Insecurity in our profession, I think, has a lot to do with your continued assessment of what you've done, where you need to go, whether you're going to get the next job or not, and why are you not getting the next job. All these factors, I think, play a major role.
What I find amazing, even I believe the finest actor our country has ever had. And okay. I believe it, it's my belief. But I still feel like when you're standing in front of the camera, and having directed you twice, I know that you still seek that nod of approval that comes from perhaps the filmmaker or people within the scene. And I think that's phenomenal to still kind of seek that approval no matter what you do.
What else would you expect me to do?
To just know better. Because I believe you would know better than me.
No, that's not correct.
No?
We never know whether we're doing right. You're the director.
Yeah.
You have cast me keeping in mind certain factors. You've written those lines. You've designed the set according to what you wish to make. Surely you must be able to decide whether my deliverables are okay or not. So I would just seek your nod of approval. I may debate with you.
Right.
I may debate with my writer. I may debate with my director. But I would do that during the process of listening to a script.
Right.
Not in front of the camera or in a studio. I think that would be very disrespectful to the director and to the writer. If you have an idea, if you have an opinion, if you want to discuss something, or if you feel that this is not correct and there are changes, I would rather do it, during the process when I'm listening to the script.
Rather than later.
And hope that there can be good and open discussion. And if something is approved of what I say, then we assess it and analyze it. But if it is, run down, and if the director says this is not correct, I would agree with him. And then go ahead in front of the camera. Once you're in front of the camera, I don't argue, as you may have noticed.
Yes. And there are so many questions coming in that I think we should take some from the house. I was meant to do a little bit of kind of sieving through the process, just so that I know that I'm not asking you anything out of bounds. What are the three things? There's a Mr. Lalit Bhalla who wishes to ask you. Are you here, Mr. Bhalla? Okay, there he is, the gentleman who put his hand up. What are the three things which make you...
You can sit, sir. Thank you.
What are the three things which make you the most versatile and long-lasting actor of the century?
That is a question for you, not for me. Sorry, sir, but it's really impossible to answer something like this. I really don't know.
Well, I think
these are the people that make me do what I do. And if there is some kind of efficiency in that, or what you see, he's the right person to answer that. It's a nightmare, sir. I really don't know how I've lasted so many years. Yeah, just been very lucky, I guess. You know, sometimes fate has been very kind to me.
There are lots of them that are slanting towards the political scenario, which we will just... So I have a Captain Praveen Davar who wishes to ask you. Are you Sir Praveen Davar? No. He's just taking a photograph. Praveen Davar, yes. Hello, hi. Yes, I'll just take it. If the PM offers to make you a candidate for the President of India, will you accept?
You know, this is a long-standing joke started by Mr. Shatrughan Sinha, and I'm just fed up of, you know, trying to give some kind of clarity to this. Have a look at me. Do you really think that... I mean, come on.
I don't know what I should say to this question, because anything I say could land.
There is no worthiness, there's no capability, there's no acceptability, there's no knowledge, nothing.
And you believe those are prerequisites?
Well, yeah, why not?
Okay. I ask that sincerely.
Are we live? Are we live on television? Yeah.
We'll just move to the next question then, we're live. Because God knows when you're live, sometimes you could be dead. All right, and there is... Okay, well, this is the same thing, so it's a repeat. There's a Dr. Ruchika who wants to know that, Mr. Bachchan, when you go for summits like these, and if a lady asks you that if she can come up on the stage and shake hands with you, what do you normally say?
Yeah, I say I'd come and shake hands with you there.
Hello, hi. Thank you.
That was more than the question asked for.
That was a... Yeah. Well, there's a Mr. Bhartendu Singh who said, who do you think can be the next Amitabh Bachchan, if you can think of anyone?
Why, what's wrong with me?
True that. Hashtag true story. Now, when you get questions like these on occasions, like this, of course, is a tremendous platform. It's a prolific platform. But when you sometimes are questioned and you feel like you have to always be on guard, answer politically correct because of the fear of being misquoted or misrepresented at times, how daunting is that feeling?
Yeah, we are just normal people, and I think that because we happen to be in a profession which is somewhat public, people expect that what we say is going to have the same amount of relevance as some of the more educated, learned people in the country have. That's a fallacy. We don't know. We don't carry that kind of knowledge or that experience. And if we have personal opinions, I would rather that we keep it to ourselves rather than make it public, because what really is going to happen, I mean, you know, somebody will make a headline out of it, somebody will put it on television. It'll go on for a day or two. We'll get abused 100 times on social media. One or two may be on your side, but that's it. After a couple of days, it goes away. So what really was the benefit or the point of doing that?
And because you're in a position of tremendous power, sometimes do you feel the pressure of taking a stand on a certain subject or a certain matter?
Yeah, I think that there are different people who have different viewpoints of what they want to do. There are many artists who take up very strong stands, right, and I really admire them for it. I don't have that kind of strength, but yes, if there's something that I can do socially for the country, which I do, I'm okay to do that. But sometimes taking a stand is tough, and I admire the people that do that.
Amit Uncle, you're always so poised. You know, you're always in control and command of your environment and yourself. And that's something that you've always maintained from the very beginning of your career. Is there some moments in life where you're surrounded by a certain circumstance that you want to really scream in anger? Do you ever get angry?
Yeah.
And how do you manage to control that feeling?
Just step outside and I'll let you know. No, I don't know. What are you actually trying to get at? I mean,
No, in terms of like, I feel like sometimes everyone kind of breaks, you know, in a circumstance perhaps, in a situation perhaps on stage sometimes where you just crack under that pressure. But whereas I've never seen that of you. You're always above the game.
I don't know. I don't know whether I've faced these situations. Maybe I have. But it's difficult to assess yourself. Right. I mean, it's difficult. But yeah, to say that there haven't been situations in my life which have been daunting, stressful. I think you have to decide yourself how you want to deal with it.
Right.
And rather than expose yourself either publicly. When you do it publicly, you have to be aware that whatever emotions or whatever feelings you are expressing no longer belongs to you.
Right.
So if there's something that you want to deal with yourself, I would rather that you deal with it within the confines of your solitary, room or whatever it is.
Rather than put yourself out.
Rather than put yourself out, because I don't know whether that's correct, really.
Right.
Why should I inflict what I'm going through to many others just because there are many others who know me or know who I am and may want to feel the same? I don't think it's important enough to do that.
Right. I understand that. There's a Manish Jha who asks, are role models important in life, and do you have any?
Yeah, I think that from a very young age, you want to identify with people who you get impressed by. So for me, my parents have been my role models. In the field of acting, I've always said that Dilip Saab and Vahida ji and some of the olds from Hollywood, Brando and Montgomery Clift and the others have all been great artists, and you admire them and you love them and they become your idols. So yes, they would be my role models.
Well, this one's just an interesting question. I don't think anyone has an answer, but I must ask it. There's a Pushp who asks, I'm sorry, I can't read, is it Pushp something? After demonetization, how do you play Kaun Banega Crorepati? It's just a funny question.
Holy Jesus, McGregor, this is unbelievable. Sony TV, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still contracted to do another program with them, but this is brilliant. Can I have that piece of paper?
Yes.
I want to give it to.
There it is. Sorry, that's not the question. That's one.
I must share this with the next producers.
Well, not that this is a sequel to that question, but Sunil Sharma wants to know, how do you deal so gracefully with the disgraceful people who come across your life?
Nobody disgraceful.
Firstly, I don't know, I hope they don't mean me at this moment. I'm a bit worried.
No, there's nobody disgraceful. They're all fine and they're all wonderful people. And I'm truly indebted to all of them who have shown a lot of grace and given me a lot of happiness and joy and love. So I'm eternally grateful to all of them.
Well, that's true. And there's a very concerned doctor, Amit Uncle, who says, I was told that you sleep only 3 or 4 hours a day. From medical point of view, this is not easy. How do you remain energetic with so less sleep? This is Dr. Gupta. Such little sleep.
So you may not know, but I'm actually sleeping right now. But no, it just depends upon your work schedule and what?
I just got that. I think it was a reflection on my questioning abilities. But anyway, my apologies. Could you wake up and answer this one, please?
No, but seriously, yes, my work finishes around 8, 9 o'clock at night and starts very early, 7 or 8 in the morning. And by the end of the day, then there are many other things that one has to look into, and it takes a while before. Social media finishes at around 1 or 2 o'clock at night, and then you have to be up again. But I think that we make up during the day.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
It's not a problem.
Yeah.
3 or 4 hours of sleep. Well, actually the consistent and I think the discipline that you have online is also admirable. It's not just a given. Normally what happens with social media and most celebrities, it's a very take and take kind of equation. With you, it's a give and take. I see you replying back. I see you're constantly engaging with your fans all across the world. And that's why you have the most amount of followers on every platform. It's because you're also engaging with them. And I think that gives them a feeling of oneness with you, which is something only you do and no one else does.
No, I think that when I went onto social media, one of the things that I started with was the blog. And I was given the liberty to design the blog myself. And I asked them to design something where I could not just write the blog, but be able to read some of the comments that would come in. Excuse me. And then I said, can I design something where I can respond to a response?
Right.
It's just like, sitting in front of you and talking. I mean, if I was to just keep silent and you kept asking me questions or just speaking to me, it would be terribly rude. So I just feel that if someone has responded to me, I must talk back to him.
Right.
And that's why I keep responding and write every day. And it's really become a wonderful experience because not only do you discover fresh people with different kinds of abilities and talents that are most of the time much greater than your own. Their writing, their thinking is absolutely brilliant, and I keep using a lot of their inputs and words into some of the things that I put on other medium like Twitter or Facebook. And it gets a great amount of admiration. I never say it is mine. I do quote them, and I think it's wonderful. Some of the criticisms that they write about situations in the country, your own performance, your film, is absolutely stunning. I mean, there are many times when I myself am unable to fathom what they were saying, or I never thought about that.
Right.
So it's wonderful to be able to make contact with these people.
The other thing is that most movie stars, well, you can only speak historically when it comes to Indian cinema. After a certain point, you see them doing lesser and lesser work, and then many of them have even faded into oblivion. And for various reasons, some health and some, perhaps film failures, etc. Do you believe that you're so relevant at age 74, and a lot to do with that relevance is you're interacting with the times and environment around you, and the fact that you can still connect to a 10-year-old as much as you can still connect to fans of yours who are in the same age bracket as you are?
Yeah, a lot of this is a necessity, I feel, because of my profession and my own personal needs. But if I'm connecting to somebody, then again, I would say, repeat myself and say that that's the credit to the director and the maker. They feel that they need to say something through me which will connect, and fortunately, if it does, then the credit really goes there. But yes, I do feel very awkward because the average age on my sets these days is about 25.
Yes.
And I'm 74. But it's wonderful to be in their company. I just feel so invigorated and so happy to see this generation. They're so talented and so knowledged and so aware of where they are, who they are, and where they want to go. I still don't know where I want to go. And it's wonderful to just be in their company, to see their confidence. And that's not true in just my profession. I feel perhaps the audience here would be better placed to answer this question. I feel that today's generation is a lot more aware and knowledged, not just in films, but in any walk of life, what they want to do, how they think, how they operate their lives. It's a lot more advanced than we were at our younger age. And it's just wonderful to be in their company and to be able to hear them. And to see the amount of, at the age of 12, somebody knows what he wants to do in life. I mean, that's amazing. And with the kind of percentage of youth that we're going to have in this country in the next 15, 20 years, that's remarkable.
Do you think all that awareness makes you lose your objectivity as well?
My objective?
No, generally the younger generation that you speak of, because they're so aware because of various technology platforms that surround them and all the information available. I sometimes feel like their own personal perspective or their own objectivity sometimes gets compromised.
But whatever they're thinking is coming from their own mind. Right. So I'm pretty sure that they know what the circumstances are, where they're living, how they're conducting themselves. They're seeing everything that is happening all around them almost instantly. Right. So I'm pretty sure that whatever decisions they're making, a lot of this information, these ideas, these inputs that they keep getting, they're aware of it. So I'm not sure that they're thinking something that is completely varied from whatever is happening around.
It's a result of their thought and their awareness of information around them.
Yeah.
In the industry right now, we have so many young emerging actors. Do you spot a ray of brilliant talent in a few of them, and if who?
They're all brilliant.
They're all brilliant.
And I'm not being diplomatic, really. I just feel that that every new artist that I see in every film is so accomplished and faultless. It's difficult for me to believe, because even after 47 years, I find so many faults in my own performance. And I'm unable to rectify that. But I can't find that in the younger generation. And it's just marvelous to see the kind of talent that we have, each one of them.
Right.
You work with a lot of them, you introduce a lot of them into the film industry. And perhaps you're better placed to know what I'm saying, because they are truly, truly incredibly talented. And all the films that they're doing, they're not just playing routine film characters. Most of them are completely diverse from what they did in their previous film, which is extremely difficult to do. And they're challenged almost every day with something fresh and new. And that's because I think the audiences want that.
Right.
They're fed up of seeing the same thing.
Right.
There came a time when audiences, was to see the credit titles and know what the film was going to be about. But I doubt very much in today's cinema that perhaps you're able to give a little more time before the scenario unfolds and be able to say that, yeah, this is something different that we saw.
There's Mr. Ajay Bhargava who wants to know, would you accept the role of James Bond? You're the most eligible for this.
Is that you? James Bond.
007, Amit Uncle.
Have you ever thought of acting in a movie, sir? You look a lot like James Bond. Why don't you do that? I am beyond my age now. It's impossible.
That's a compliment. To see you as James Bond would be actually quite fantastic. There's a Mr. Vinod Sharma who says, I think Piku was your best film as an actor, but your wife Jayaji thinks you were best in Saudagar.
Yeah, she's right. Never say no to the wife. Always say yes.
Well, Jayanti would always have a different perspective that we know completely. And she believes it. I mean, I've had that conversation with her. She does believe your work in Saudagar was exemplary.
Okay.
So we stand by that.
That's a domestic issue.
And Vanita wants to know, what would you have wanted to do if you were not an actor?
I was asked this when I came in 1969. And I said, Allahabad jaake doodh bechunga aur kya karunga? No, but I was working in Calcutta as an executive in a firm, in a managing agency firm. I guess I would have continued doing that. But now that I look back on it, I think I would have been very unhappy. I think I'm very happy with my choice and where I am and what I do and what I look forward to almost every day. And that's a wonderful hint for you, Karan. Think about me in your next film. But really, it's a great challenge almost every day to be up in the morning and to see what you're going to be performing the next day, have sleepless nights, struggle with the role, with the content that is given to you. It's been a wonderful life, yes.
Well, I think that it has been, and I think just the way you've blessed our cinema, I think the cinema blesses you every day for just your existence and what you do in the movies. Amit Uncle, there are multiple requests for you to recite some part of your brilliant father's work. A lot of requests saying that if you could recite any part of his work, everybody
There's
would
so much which has already been said and done. But I did a film just now called Pink, and there was a poem at the end which was very relevant in today's times, particularly in an age where we are wanting to look and give women the respectability and dignity that they so deserve. I would rather say that today rather than say. This was written by a writer, Kazi, who was part of the unit, and it came almost as an afterthought after the film was over. For those of you who haven't seen the film, it was about giving dignity to women. The summation of the film was done by a lawyer, the role that I played, where 3 girls who have been accused of murder or attempted murder, in fact, it's the other way around, they were molested, and the argument that the lawyer gave was that, no means no. When a woman says no, whether it's your girlfriend, your partner, whether it's a sex worker, whether it's your own wife, you need to stop. And on those lines, the poet wrote these words, ki, तो खुद की खोज में निकल तो किस लिए हताश है तू चल तेरे वजूद की समय को भी तलाश है समय को भी तलाश है जो तुझसे लिपटी बेड़ियां समझना इनको वस्त्र तू जो तुझसे लिपटी बेड़ियां समझना इनको वस्त्र तू ये बेड़ियां पिघाल कर बना ले इनको शस्त्र तू तो खुद की खोज में निकल तो किस लिए हताश है तो चल तेरे वजूद की समय को भी तलाश है चरित्र जब पवित्र है तो क्यों है ये दशा तेरी चरित्र जब पवित्र है तो क्यों है ये दशा तेरी ये पापियों को हक नहीं कि ले परीक्षा तेरी तो खुद की खोज में निकल तो किस लिए हताश है तो चल तेरे वजूद की समय को भी तलाश है जला के भस्म कर उसे जो पापियों का रोग है ये आरती की लौ नहीं ये क्रोध की मशाल है तो खुद की खोज में निकल तो किस लिए हताश है तो चल तेरे वजूद की समय को भी तलाश है चुनर उड़ा के ध्वज बना गगन भी कपकपाएगा चुनर उड़ा के ध्वज बना गगन भी कपकपाएगा अगर तेरी चुनर गिरी तो एक भूकंप आएगा तो खुद की खोज में निकल तो किस लिए हताश है तो चल तेरे वजूद की समय को भी तलाश है धन्यवाद
It's actually wonderful when you do a film that not only works as a feature film in terms of its emotional content and its narrative structure, but also when it makes such a strong statement and does it in a manner that gets understood not only by who it's targeted to, but also sets a precedent of thought. And I think that Pink was one such cinematic experience, that it was just beyond an entertainment set piece of cinema. It was also saying something so strong. Did you always know that it would have this kind of impact, or did you just realize and accept the role because of its inherent messaging?
We didn't realize that it would have this kind of an impact. But yes, when we were designing the product, we were very conscious of what we were doing and what path we were taking. I think all of us strongly believed the fact that this is something that we personally believe in.
Right.
And I feel that every dialogue that I spoke in the film, I would speak that even if I wasn't working in the film. I would believe in that, I would say that, and I still say it. And that really was the crux of everyone that was involved in the film, right from the writer to the maker to the artists. each one of those girls actually believed that what they're saying is right. And the lawyers and the courtroom scenes that happened were studied. I mean, the research team went out to at least 4 different courts in India, in Delhi, in Calcutta, in Chennai, and in Mumbai, talked to lawyers, talked to judges, to get the right kind of inflect, the kind of arguments that victims that are women, particularly who are brutally treated, what kind of conversation do they have? Most of the victims, and it's harsh to call them that, they fear going for an investigation because they're so embarrassed by the kind of questioning that happens, more particularly in police stations. But I think that the film covered all that. There were many things that women did not know, that what is called a zero FIR, for example, that it's not important that where the incident has taken place, only that police station is authorized to take your FIR. You can go anywhere, and that's called zero FIR, and it's for women. So that's something that we propagated in the film. But yes, most importantly, the last line of the film was, when a woman says no, you stop.
And that's become like it's caught on and is being quoted everywhere, in every context, and so many columns have been written with it. You know, there's such amazing social media buzz, and it's wonderful when a film translates so brilliantly the way Pink has. So congratulations.
There are other side effects to this sometimes in domesticity. So when the wife says, I want to buy this piece of jewelry, and you say, you know, I don't think that's going to be possible. And she would say, well, I'm not going to accept your no because I want this. And once I've said it, no means no. You better get it for me. So, or, you know, there are many other instances, you know, I don't approve you going there. And I say, but you know, I need to go there. I said, no means no. So there are many aspects to this thing that are being used by wives at home.
You're just getting back to her because you've told her many a time in a film, "Keh diya na, bas keh diya."
That is what she said.
So this is actually the rejoinder to that.
You're loving this, aren't you? Because you designed that dialogue.
It's a price I think you and I are paying. I wrote that, you said it, and now you have to unfortunately be collateral damage at home. Just lastly, just to end this conversation, whenever your name is said, the name Amitabh Bachchan is resounding. It has impact in terms of its phonetic and everything that you've achieved in your career, which is just amazing, and it's beyond what one can describe in words. What does it feel like? Does it feel like to wake up as Amitabh Bachchan every morning? What do you carry with yourself?
I carry my night suit.
I hope so. But what does it feel like? Like I don't know what I would feel like if I was someone as amazing as you are. What would you wake up as every morning?
You're kidding, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm asking you seriously. What does it feel like to be Amitabh Bachchan?
Just another name.
How can you even say that?
Why not?
With a straight face. You're not another name.
It is.
You're the name.
No, it's the name my parents gave me, and that's it. It should be anything else. I don't see.
True. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
You are taking up certain acts which do not suit your standards and stature.
So we're done with the Q&A.
No, just tell me which ad is this?
You are taking up so many acts.
Yeah.
Some of them do not suit your standards, your stature,
Okay.
your popularity.
And I think a question like this doesn't suit our stature. So we are actually
No,
done
it's okay. We get paid for it. And we also hope that endorsement does well for the product.
Thank you. Thank you, Amit Uncle. Thank you so much for engaging with me and engaging with all of us.
Thank you
We've
so
taken
much,
some
ladies and gentlemen.
Wonderful
It's really been an
conversation.
honor.
Thank you very much. And have a pleasant evening.